Possibly the most over-engineered retaining wall. You may wonder what's going on now. For some reason, I managed to pick the hottest day of the year to do this concrete pour. On the last episode, we dug most of the footings, and I'm now on to rebar work. And I've done a section here which has just been signed off by the building inspector. Signed off, he said it was kind of okay to proceed anyway, so I'll show you what I've done here. But we need to repeat this for the whole of the retaining wall, so there's like 15 meters of this. This is just a 1.2 meter section I've done. So I am following a structural engineer's drawing, of course, and these are rebars here every 200 mil, and it's all 12 mil rebar. They're all tied together here. Here I've put some insulation, that's just to stop the concrete coming onto these parts of the rebar, so when I take the insulation off I can put the next lot of rebars and tie it all into there. It'll all make sense. Got these standoff spacer things at the bottom, and I've just put some in temporarily here. Well, some of these may stay, but probably move on to that one over there. And once all these vertical rebars are done, there'll be horizontal ones coming off there for the toe. Anyway, let's do one thing at a time. I also got these rebars here, and they poke into the dirt there, so when I dig this next section out, they'll obviously stick out again to tie it all in together. I'm going to fill this with concrete now as well. So there's this section all concreted in. Concrete's gone off now. I was fighting actually because it started raining just as I finished putting that concrete in, but it seems to be all right. And yesterday I did another section. So these are, as I keep saying, all to the structural engineer's design. Do need to dig that out, but I think the next job is I'm going to try and tackle this, because this is really rocky. I did actually hit rock on that one over there yesterday, and I found by actually just drilling it sort of broke the rock up. So I'm going to try that technique again and see if we can get this down. So the battery on the camera ran out, but you saw I was digging this out. Still got a way to go. We're just connecting up all the trenches here, and yeah, nearly filling another skip. So yeah, not filming too much of this, but a lot of digging going on. I'm hitting rock in quite a few places, so I'm using an impact with a chisel just to get that out. This is kind of back breaking here, digging between these. You can start seeing the rebars sticking out that I put in. Got quite a way down to go with that, but hitting this sort of rocky stuff. Yeah, this same thing here, this sort of rock in patches. Got most of this dug out now. You can quite clearly see the rebars sticking out. Still a little bit more to do here, but now I'm just gonna start making up the rest of these rebars to go in between. Got my rebars there ready to go in, and I just put these couple of first ones going across, tying those together. And these are the bits you need to install your rebar. Got these plastic spacer things, and they keep it off the ground, and also you can just keep it off the wall. With those, they're set at I think 50mm and 40mm. It's actually written on there. Got these cool little ties, and I just picked up actually this tool thing. I'll show you using it in a second, but as you pull back, it twists these ties together. Got level and tape measure. I've actually marked on the wall here where they're going to go every 200mm. There's 7 of these to go in that section there. So let's get those installed. I think this has got to be my favourite tool ever. Just put these little ties around, put that there and just pull, and it just tightens the ties down. You'll be careful not to go too hard because it will snap them, they're not that strong. Battery died on the camera, but I have got all these rebars in. There's 25 pairs along there, plus I don't know how many along there. Anyway, they're at every 200mm centres, and that was a lot of work. Possibly the most over-engineered retaining wall. And we got Gary in for a day. How you doing, Gary?
Good afternoon.
Just helping it push on a little bit and just finishing off the trenches at the moment. So next is I have got a couple more of these lateral rebars to go in there either side, and then the concrete pour will come to there. So I think I've got one more that side of the concrete base, and then the next one, and they will actually go all the way up the rebar, but I don't have to worry about that just at the moment. Just getting ready for this first concrete pour. just saw me drilling holes in shuttering boards outside, and these are the bars which are going to be for the toe of the concrete slab. So I've just cut these into half, 1.5 metre long now, and I need to do a bend in each one of them which goes up the wall. It'll make sense in a minute, but I think I'm going to try and use my conduit bender here. So I've pretty much got all these bars which go on the flat bent up and into position. Hopefully it makes sense now why I drilled all these holes, and that keeps them the right height off the ground. Got a few this end which I just need to cut down because the footings step back a bit there. So I'm going to cut those down, fit those. Then I've got to wire them all up, and put some ties in as well. These big long bars here are going to go across and tie those all together. Now I feel like I'm on one of those TV shows because the pressure is on. The concrete is coming tomorrow morning, and I've got a hell of a lot to do today. I've got to tie all these bars in. I've got to sort out the bottom of all the shuttering so the concrete doesn't come through that. Make a couple of pieces of shuttering for the trenches there. I've got to build a concrete chute as well because the lorry chute is only 2.5 meters, so it won't reach down to there. So yeah, I was working on this until 7:30 last night, and I've got a big day now as well. The pressure is on. Let's see what we can get done. I have just worked a 12-hour day just to try and get all this ready for tomorrow's concrete pour, and you may wonder what's going on now, but I've just popped out again because just double checking after all this bashing, wiring, work, etc. that we've still got a nice level shutter in. So I've got my laser out. Let's have a look. It's just a cheap little thing here, but it does a pretty good job. And not sure if you can see that on the camera, but it looks pretty much bang on. Anyway, it's good enough for now, because on top of this concrete base anyway is going to be insulation and a screed, but you want something, you know, fairly accurate to go off. So the day of the concrete pour is here. In fact, it's going to be here in about an hour. So I've been up for a couple of hours. I worked until about 8:30 last night. Been up for a couple of hours this morning because I put some expanding foam down, so I've just been tidying that all up on the inside. Looking pretty good. Hopefully there won't be too many leaks for the concrete to get out. Have to deal with that if it happens. I also put in a few sort of safety bars here. I think these blocks will stop the concrete, but obviously banging these in, it can't actually go anywhere now. Possibly have to take the soil pipe out and cut those ties just so I can get it to flow around the corner, but it's hopefully pretty much ready. And I have got a friend coming over just to give me a hand to shovel it along. If I'm honest, I am a little bit nervous because it's taken weeks of work to get to this point for the concrete pour. So much time, effort has gone into this so far. The concrete turns up and you literally have half an hour for the vehicle to be on site, otherwise you have to pay a load more money. So you just kind of got to hope that everything's correct. I've done a couple of concrete pours in the past on the garage, but you know, this isn't my job, so yeah, it's kind of a bit nerve-wracking. I hope I've got everything done correct. I hope the guy likes my chute that I made and is able to use that. I've kind of measured, apparently the chute on the lorry is 2.5 meters long, so I measured it. I'm hoping that chute will reach to my chute and then that will go in there. I've asked for the concrete to be as wet as possible, so it should flow, you know, to the best of its ability, but there'll be two of us. A friend is going to join me and we'll shovel it to the other end around the corner. Then we have to tamp it down and try and poke it into all the nooks and crannies. It's quite a bit of work just about to happen in a very short space of time. Right, here we have the concrete turning up. Cameron, expert driver, I bloody well hope, is just backing into position, and he says we might not need to use this well constructed chute that I made last night at 8:30. Rear steer, hey, that's pretty flash, isn't it? Airbags, rear steer. Nice one. Do you reckon or not? This is Martin, by the way, everyone. Martin owns the best pub in Kingswood, Black Horse. Go check it out. And he's given me a hand today. He's come prepared with his own shovel.
Some of the people in here will be working class, so there may be arse cleavage. So. Okay, it's a couple of hours later now. For some reason, I managed to pick the hottest day of the year to do this concrete pour. The wagon was on site for about an hour and 10 minutes, and it was probably 45 minutes from leaving their depot where it was originally mixed. So towards the end of the pour, the concrete was already going off. So after the lorry left, I literally had 20 minutes to try and level this up the best I could, and it's not great, but yeah, it is what it is. It will be covered with damp proof membrane insulation and some kind of screed or something on top of that, so you'll never see it, but let's have a quick look. This area actually is pretty level, but it is just rough. it's kind of pitted and rough and ready there. Just didn't have time to trowel anything down. This bit's not too bad, and then in this corner it actually dips down slightly into that corner. Not too bad, and it's even rougher here. So that was 6 cubic meters of concrete, which is actually 16 tons, which is a ludicrous amount of concrete. 16 tons have gone into here. So yeah, super pleased to get that all done, and firms everything up. Pulled off all the shuttering there, had a bit of a tidy up, bit of a sweep off, and yeah, much happier. I was worried because obviously the concrete went off a bit quick and this area is rough on the surface, but when you look at the actual concrete with the shuttering removed, you can see how well packed it is, nice and dense there. Really pleased with that. And that's it for this episode. There was a lot of work that went into this. I was doing some 12-hour days to get this ready for the concrete pour, but really pleased to have got that done. That rebar work took a hell of a long time. There's obviously still a bit more to do. We put some rebar mesh on the base there, and then there's a lot of rebars to go in on these walls as well. That'll be for another time. Just want to thank Cameron, the driver of the concrete truck, for lending a hand, little Gary and Martin from the Black Horse for your help. Cheers guys, and yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We have merchandise for sale. I'll put a link below, and see you on the next one. Cheers.